Welcome back, Mystic Travelers. It's me, Jazz, and today's question is just a little bit uncomfortable. What if the parts of yourself you are most ashamed of hold the key to you being joyful in your life? Let's go look at why. What if I told you that most of what you think, say, and do has nothing to do with what you consciously want or what you're consciously thinking, saying, and doing? And that's where we get into the realm of Jungian shadow work. Carl Jung, the psychologist who actually had a lot of metaphysical aspects to his work. Once again, highly recommend. But today we're going to talk about a Jungian psychologist named Robert Bly. So they said 95% of everything you think, do, say, experience, and stuff is from your subconscious. 5% is from your consciousness. So you're only really controlling about 5%. To me, that means one of the most important things that you can do in your life is to open up a conversation between yourself and your subconscious. Now, as a person who suffered extreme trauma and abuse the first 2 decades of her life, I want to say that do this with the guidance of a professional, if possible. You need to be really careful and responsible, because what's locked in your subconscious might be more than you can handle. So please get professional help to help you with this. Robert Bly talked about the shadow bag. What is a shadow bag? Okay, so first let's start with a story from Buddhism. It says when you're born, your mind, your thoughts, all that, it's an empty, clear pond with a still surface. Then people come along and they start throwing mud in your pond. It's muddier and muddier. Worse yet, eventually they teach you, you say, oh, this must be normal. So you start throwing mud in your own pond. Then one day you grow up, and maybe this is why people have midlife crises, I don't know, or quarter life crises. And you're like, damn, I can't see a thing. My pond is so dirty, but I don't know why, and I don't know how to clean it, and I don't know how to start. And then stillness comes so that all the muck can settle. But when you do start cleaning your pond, it gets a lot worse first. This is why I was like, get help when you need it, right? Professional help. Because when you stir up that stuff at the bottom so that you can start clearing it out for real, it can get really messy. But Thich Nhat Hanh has a book actually called No Mud, No Lotus. So from that mud can grow the most beautiful flower. Now, what does this have to do with Robert Bly and Jungian psychology and shadow work? Robert Bly talks about something called a shadow bag. So basically, you're born, and let's say you're a year or two old, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go play in the mud, like a kid wants to do. So, and someone comes up to you and says, oh, gross. Ugh, that's nasty. You shouldn't be doing that. In your subconscious, there was a seed just planted. Playing in the mud, bad, gross. I am wrong. Goes into your shadow bag. You're born with an empty bag. You just threw something in there. You go to school a few years later, and you're wearing your favorite cool outfit that you think is so awesome, and it's bright pink and, all that. And you go to school and someone's like, ugh, why are you wearing that? We all like to wear this other color. It's so much better. And then you're like, uh-oh, now I'm not accepted. Something's wrong with me. Brightness, personality goes right into that shadow bag. Okay, can you see the pattern, how over your life this happens again and again, just like the mud being thrown in the pond? And at some point, you start preemptively trying to anticipate this external judgment and how it's going to be judged against you, and then you start putting the stuff in the bag yourself. But it gets even worse. Now that your shadow bag is so big and has been incorporated into you so thoroughly, you're going to start projecting that onto other people. So you're at school and you came in pink and you looked awesome, and everyone else is like, brown is the color. A new kid comes in pink and you're like, we only wear brown here. That's not who you really are, but you're so scared of that judgment and that vulnerability coming back. What would happen if we stopped thinking conformity was the right path, and we thought, oh, individuality is something to be celebrated? Because really, if the whole world was wearing brown, it would be very boring, right? So why do we teach our children? And why do we teach them to conform so harshly? Alan Watts said something along the lines of like, we don't treat children like people until they grow up. And this is such a horrible crime when you think about it. It's like we treat them like little vessels to just dump stuff in, or little people to fulfill the dreams and stuff that we failed in our own lives. And then we might not even teach them correctly, and then they turn 18 and they're like, why don't you know how to do all this stuff? Well, why can't they get into a relationship and be able to share their emotions and stuff openly and vulnerably? Or why does it feel like sometimes you go out in a new outfit that, like, think about it. If I have a new pair of earrings that are, like, actually I have some earrings that look like little voodoo dolls with like little stick pins in them. As a teenager, even though I would have loved those, I would have never worn them out. Because I've been like, oh my God, what is everyone thinking of me? You know, I've been told that this kind of thing, I live in the South, so I've been told this kind of thing is evil and wrong, blah, blah, blah. But as an adult, I just put them on and I don't care, because if someone comes up to me and says that, I don't see that as a reflection of my problem. Because I've worked through my shadow, I mean, not all of it, like, work through all the shadow. Work through some of my shadow work. I would see it as like, oh, I'm sorry that they have an issue with that, and I hope that they can work through their issues with that. That the feeling that they have to project their own personal views on everyone in their general vicinity, right? Okay, well, this one's gone a little longer than usual, but I'm sure that I will come and revisit the shadow bag. But I want to ask you, what have you discovered in your shadow bag? Or if you reflect on the idea of the shadow bag, what do you think is hidden in yours that might, a lot of times you can start by behaviors, looking at behaviors that you feel like aren't what you want them to be, and then trace them back. Who told you that that was wrong? Was it stuff you saw on TV? Was it a person? Was there a pivotal event where that part of you was shut down? And just as a reminder, your shadow bag can include good things too. Your shadow bag's not just like, oh, I secretly want to slap everybody and then I shouldn't do that, so in my bag. A shadow bag also contains things that you love, like maybe like playing in the dirt. You know, maybe you wanted to be an archaeologist when you grew up and that's why you're playing in the dirt. Or you really love playing the drums, but it's so loud and someone's like, stop, stop, stop. So then you're like, okay, music's bad. And so you give up, dream after dream goes into the shadow bag. Do you want more control over your life and how you think? Working with that shadow bag is important.